class, and welcome to Module 4 of ECS 116. So Module 4 is going to cover weeks 7 and 8, so I'm going to have these instructions just cover week 7, and know that I will post another set of instructions for week 8. So let's go ahead and take a peek at the Module 4 objectives and what we are going to be responsible for learning in this module. So the first thing that we're going to be talking about is identifying differences between individualism and collectivism as a cultural value. And we did introduce this concept last module. So as with any step, the first thing you're going to want to do is be able to identify your own personal values and how you relate to individualism and collectivism. We're asking for you to apply knowledge of the two cultural values to create a culturally inclusive childhood classroom. We also want you to be able to identify some cultural differences, and one way we can do that is relating the differences to daily routines with children and also child rearing practices. We want you to be able to apply the knowledge of cultural differences in daily routines and child rearing practices to alleviate cultural conflicts between a child's family practices and what you do in your own program. And lastly, create a culturally responsive early childhood classroom practice around those issues. So looking at the week's instructions, and this actual video is not functioning, so I'm re-recording. Know that you're going to be reading Chapter 4 in your DECE text. That's the little yellow book. So it's a framework for understanding differences. And then also I have 3 articles posted for you in the same readings file. We have an introductory video called What Kind of Asian Are You? I think you'll find that very interesting because many times our own social cultural values are so embedded in us that we actually have implicit bias and we're not even aware. And implicit bias means that you are demonstrating stereotypes and biases without having that common awareness. We're going to take another look at the PowerPoint I introduced last week on individualistic versus collectivism cultures. And then we have a video called Latina or Hispanic. I think you'll find that really interesting. So our discussion board this week, we're going to frame it by you reading through the cross-cultural communication strategies again before you post. So discussion board post number 5 is understanding differences in relation to values and culture. So I'd like for you to post the first post by Thursday, March 9th at midnight, and please respond to 2 to 3 classmates no later than midnight on Sunday, March 12th. So I also wanted to introduce our next assignment, which is the parent interview. You will be doing 2 parent interviews, and that due date is until March 19th at midnight, so you'll have 2 weeks to finish that. So just taking another look at the module, here's the reading. So you're reading Chapter 4. For the second week of the modules, that would be week 8, you're also going to be reading Chapter 6 in Roots and Wings. Here's those 3 articles that we talked about. So in the module, here's the video. It's very short on what kind of Asian are you. And then here is our PowerPoint again on collectivist versus individualistic social cultures. And then here is our video on Hispanic or Latina or Latino. So I just wanted to point out that even within a certain stereotype or label, cultural label, that there are differences in stereotypes embedded. So I think you'll find that very interesting. Here is our discussion board on understanding differences in relationship to values and culture. There you go. And then we get into week 8. So if you have any questions about this week's activities, please don't hesitate to contact me at troki@hancockcollege.edu. Oh, and I wanted to give you a reminder. Please keep an eye on your email for an email from Classroom Climate. That email contains a survey, a student survey, regarding the course and my instruction. So I'm very honored that all of you will be able to have some input into how we're doing, particularly with ECS 116. Know that this class, it's the first time it's been taught in the Canvas online learning platform. So, I think all of us are kind of on a learning scale, but I'd really like to get your feedback for that. So in the event that you do not have an email in your inbox, please take a look in your junk file because it's very possible that it was perceived as junk or spam. So you want to check those, and then you'd have to put it into your regular inbox. So I am anticipating that those emails may have already gone out, or they could go out this week or next week. So just keep an eye and then let me know if you haven't received one, and I can try to work with the college to get you one. So again, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me, and I hope you have a great week.